One, two, three. Nice to be in orbit.
And we're back with more on News Talk Saga 960 on what I expect will be a regular segment on the show. We're going to call it News Talk Crypto with Benjamin. Benjamin Dichter, of course, has been a regular on the show. We bring him in as our go-to guy when it comes to all things related to crypto. This is still a mysterious world for a lot of people, a lot of Canadians, a lot of Americans. They still don't quite understand it. And they've been told by people in authority, like those in the Bank of Canada, that this is not a real currency, not really used in a normal sense to buy and, I don't know, sell stuff. And it's absolutely ridiculous, as Benjamin has noted, because all you have to do is go online and check at the millions of transactions that go on daily with the use of crypto. It just tends to suggest that the people in authority, whether it's at the Bank of Canada or elsewhere, Benjamin, really don't know what the hell they're talking about when it comes to crypto.
I think it's more the brainless element of our bureaucracy. There are some people who get it, who are aware that change is on the horizon and that we all need to adopt to change. But yeah, this article that just came up, it's hysterical. I just sent you the link. I don't know if you saw it. The headline, where is it? The headline reads, Bitcoin is not a digital currency. People don't spend it. Bank of Canada airhead governor says. Oh, wait, didn't say airhead. So not only is it not a currency, it's not a digital currency, which is interesting. You know?
Wow. Yeah, that is strange. I mean, I can understand him saying, even though it's wrong, I can understand him saying it's not a real currency. That's something you would expect from somebody at the Bank of Canada, but not a digital currency either. It doesn't even qualify as that. It's like the biggest
an analog currency. Yeah, what an idiot.
Well,
yeah.
So how do you explain this? I mean, shouldn't a guy like that know better?
Much like many people on our bureaucracy, they all, and I'll just say this as clearly as I can, they all need to be fired. They all need to be thrown out on their ass. 80% of our bureaucracy can just go, just leave. We don't need you, right? And this is a good indicator. I mean, this week alone, here are some of the things that have transpired. The Commonwealth Bank of Australia has launched a pilot project that they're going to custodial Bitcoin for their clients. So of their 15 million clients, those clients will be able to access Bitcoin, buy, purchase, save Bitcoin, whatever, through their Commonwealth Bank of Canada account. Australia has also approved this is yet another Bitcoin ETF. I believe it's the first in Australia, but I think Canada was one of the first countries. So I guess we'll have to ask the guy from the Bank of Canada if it's not a currency, irrespective of the ETF. Eric Adams, who I can tell you a really short story, but when I was in New York, I met him at a friend's party that they had in his honor just after he launched his campaign. But Eric Adams got rid of de Blasio, or whatever his name was, who was just thrown out of office. And Eric has suggested his first 3 paychecks, he's going to take them in Bitcoin. Francis Suarez, the mayor of Miami, is taking his next paycheck in Bitcoin. NFL Green Bay Packers quarterback Aaron Rodgers has decided he's going to take, I don't know what percentage it was, half, 30%, whatever, of his salary in Bitcoin. Yet, here we come, the Bank of Canada. Oh, it's not a currency. Well, then how are these people getting paid in it?
Yeah, it's bizarre. I don't understand it, but here it is. People who, I don't know whether they're trying to gaslight is it a case of trying to discredit Bitcoin? Is that what they're, by now, of course, we've had whole countries try that. China has repeatedly attacked crypto. They banned it. And so it hasn't worked. I mean, right in China itself, you still have Bitcoin mining, for instance, despite the fact that country has banned it. So, why does it survive all these onslaughts? Is it because of the deregulated nature of it all?
Well, it's because of the decentralized nature of it, and for people who are not in the computer world, it's a difficult concept to grasp. But essentially, like with the case of China, yeah, they banned Bitcoin mining, and as we discussed in a previous episode, what did Bitcoin do, or what did the miners do? They picked up and they left. They went to Texas, they went to various states in the U.S., and the biggest chunk went to Kazakhstan. So Bitcoin's security measure, it's measured in hash rate. Okay, very complicated, but basically, the hash rate is the level of security. It's the amount of computing power of the network. So when China banned it and all those miners went offline, the hash rate dipped significantly. And that was, I don't know how many months ago, when was that, 3-4 months ago? Well, just this week, all of those miners who have left have now come back online, and we're almost exactly at the same hash rate as when China banned it. So great, they banned it. Everybody picked up, left, went to various other jurisdictions, set up and continued mining. And well, Bob's your uncle. There you go. It continues. So again, I've said before a few times to many people, trying to ban Bitcoin is like trying to ban the coronavirus, and we've done an amazing job at that. So again, the competency level of our bureaucracy is not exactly in its heyday right now.
All right. So what should the Bank of Canada do? I mean, they're trying to prop up fiat currencies, of which they continue to print, and hundreds of billions of dollars or whatever they need. It's like, in order to prop up economies. I mean, the law of economics dictates that these fiat currencies eventually go down to zero because of abuse, like we're seeing. I mean, it's like trillions of dollars created out of thin air. I guess the knock against crypto is that, as some say, it's a scarcity of nothing. So yeah, you have 21 million Bitcoins. In fact, they've not all been mined, correct? There's still mining
right.
going on. There's some question as to whether or not that 21 million is an arbitrary number. Is there any guarantee that there will only be 21 million Bitcoin ever mined?
Oh no, yeah, it's not an arbitrary number. It's guaranteed, specific, right down to the zero, exactly 21 million, and it's determined algorithmically. The problem I think Bitcoin faces is it's not so much, it's money based on nothing, because you can make that argument for everything. Well, why do we think gold has value? Because people have agreed that gold has value for the same reason. That argument applies to everything. But the problem with Bitcoin is a lack of understanding. People who don't understand it, they just can't. There are people who can't conceptualize it, and there are people who just, you walk them through the paces like we're doing now, and it takes a while to get your head around it. But once you do, then you get it. So a good example are Generation Z. I mean, Generation Z, for the most part, they want nothing to do with fiat currency. Fiat currency is an inconvenience for them. Why? Because so many of them, they have an entrepreneurial spirit that we've seen, unlike other generations where everybody mocks and jokes, oh, they're just playing video games on Twitch. Well, no, they're building an audience and they're monetizing that audience. And the way they're monetizing it is through various digital currencies, some that are specific to an individual platform, or some are cross-platform, or to the point of NFTs. Now, without getting into too much detail, I mean, NFTs, which are non-fungible tokens, is what the acronym stands for. Without even understanding what it is, all I got to tell you is Nike has just filed various trademarks for all Nike logos in NFT form. Why? Because we have this whole digital world, these metaverses that have been being built on blockchains, some of them, and you'll be able to post and sell NFTs in your digital universe. Like, there are people on Decentraland, and I'm going off, there's a reason I'm going off for a second, but Decentraland is what Facebook is copying. They made this announcement for Meta.
Yeah.
They're just copying Decentraland. There's a few others like that. And there are people in 2001 at the beginning of the 2020, in the beginning of coronavirus, who purchased digital property in Decentraland. So it's not physical land, it's land in a digital world. And they bought properties in some cases for $500 and ended up selling it for $100,000. There are people buying properties for millions of dollars in these, digital universes, sort of thing. And NFTs is just an extension of that. So Bitcoin is like the most basic level of what this is. It's your store of value, it's your gold, it's some level of monetary policy for a new world that is currently being developed. But this guy at the Bank of Canada, I guarantee you, if I were to ask him the most basic question, I would force him into a corner where he'd have to respond, well, I'm just not good with computers.
We've got Apple. Speaking of computers, Apple co-founder Steve Wozniak says that Bitcoin is a mathematical miracle and better than gold. He says, I do not invest in Bitcoin, but I believe in it for the future. So it's a mathematical equation and it's better than gold, according to Steve Wozniak. I mean, well, that's a pretty good endorsement, although he admits he doesn't invest in it.
Well, he also established his own cryptocurrency last year. So he first made that statement a couple of years ago, before mainstream media became aware that Bitcoin even existed for the most part. And he gave a number of, he goes to a lot of talks and gives speeches to other developers and stuff. So he came on board with Bitcoin 3 years ago, I believe it was, and understanding what it is, because all of this stuff is, when people say it's an arbitrary number, no. It's a mathematical certainty that can be proven in an absolute. It's just people don't know how to do the math, which is, not surprising given our education system right now.
Okay, so I want to go back to Decentraland, because this seems to be something that goes hand in hand with crypto. And so without Decentraland, but these types of universes, digital universes, will exist in them, like even more than, isn't that like the Matrix? I mean, at the end of the day, or is the real world the Matrix?
That's the comment we all make fun of when you tell somebody who's new to it. They always say, wait, is it like the Matrix? And we all go, oh, God. We do the Picard sigh.
I know.
If you've ever seen the movie Ready Player One.
Yeah. I've seen most of it. I couldn't watch the whole thing. I hated it, but okay. Yeah, I've seen it. So I've seen how it works. You're an avatar in a digital universe, and you take part in whatever. You can slay the dragon and win the girl or whatever, or boy or whatever.
Well, there's various things. Or you can be a corporation and you can buy a big plot of land and you can set up a digital headquarters within that ecosystem, which is exactly what a number of companies have been doing. And that's why Nike has just invested heavily in NFTs, right?
Okay. It says, lose yourself in an amazing, evolving world. Explore lands owned by users to experience incredible scenes and structures, from a space adventure to a medieval dungeon maze to entire villages crafted from the minds of community members. Are you in Decentraland?
I am. I don't really use it all that much, to be entirely honest. I've never been a world building guy beyond City Skylines and a couple of games. But there are people that they spend so much of their time, and what's really accelerated it is COVID. And well, here came those restrictions from our governments, and it was rather convenient. But now that's forced people. This became their escape. They'd log on, they'd go to this digital world, they'd walk around, they'd meet other people from around the world. So it's kind of like, if you remember IRC chats or ICQ, or all these chats that were in the early 2000s, late 1990s, it's basically taking that to the next level. But because of cryptocurrency, now there's the option of monetization of the experience. That's why there are people who have made a lot of money online engaging in this ecosystem. So when we look at the labor shortage online, There's many reasons for the labor shortage and why we have, I don't know how many container ships sitting outside the port of Los Angeles. But apparently there's a significant number of people that when they were sent home to work because the government made working illegal, that they got involved in this, and now they're thinking, well, what the hell would I go back to work for?
Yeah, but you can't grow food on in decentral land and eat it, right? Because it's digital, it's not real.
Of course, but you can make money that you can convert into fiat, and you can go into a store and pay for it. Or if you're in jurisdictions outside of North America, where currency has always been a wishy-washy, insecure issue, you just go to your local store that accepts Bitcoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin Cash, whatever cryptocurrency they're using. So in Latin America, Dash is very popular. Bitcoin is popular. I think Ethereum's starting to pick up a little bit. In Thailand, Bitcoin Cash and Bitcoin are quite popular. Every jurisdiction has its solution. So these people who are in these spaces understand that whatever, cryptocurrency they're going to be earning revenue in, they can swap in and out from one currency to the other and just spend at will. And good luck to the government to stop that. I mean, obviously they're going to institute regulations around Bitcoin. They just did in that infrastructure bill in the US. There was anti-money laundering laws that now any transaction over $10,000 in Bitcoin needs to be reported as though it's being processed through a broker. That was one of the big hidden secrets of that infrastructure bill. But okay, so fine, they're going to regulate it. Okay, but they're not going to be able to stop people from using it, which is why it's become a store of value. And more and more people are saying, hey, our government's lost his mind with, poopy pants dementia Biden out there, and I want to get away from that. So now I'm going to start putting a little bit of money into this new digital asset space, and that now includes people in the government, Cynthia Loomis, Francis Suarez, Eric Adams now, and a number of other congressmen. Ted Cruz himself has on the Senate floor recently just did a presentation about Bitcoin. Rand Paul, when you asked about central banks and the Bank of Canada, Rand Paul suggested in an interview last week, I believe it was, that he sees that Bitcoin could be a global reserve currency, which was kind of the idea behind it when it was created. Very ambitious idea, but it seems to be coming to fruition.
All right.
And Rand Paul is a very popular member of the U.S. government, as we know.
Yeah,
right?
absolutely. He's a libertarian. So how high do you think it's going to go? I mean, say, put your crystal ball to use here, Benjamin, with the time we've got left. Where do you see it, say, in 2 or 3 years' time?
I'm going to say what I always say. I have no idea. This is not financial advice. I'm not telling people to buy. I'm just an enthusiast, as we discussed. But, there are projections in terms of all the transactions and the network effect and the growth rate and the adoption rate. Like Bitcoin is being adopted at twice the speed as the internet was adopted. Think of that. It's accelerating twice as fast as the internet is, and all it is money, right? It doesn't have all the functionality of the internet. So we see that people on their logarithmic charts and adoption and growth rates, we're seeing estimations of $12 million by 2030, 2031. We're seeing $2 million in the next 2 to 4 years. It could be anywhere. It could be more than that. It could be less than that.
All right. All right. Well, listen, come back soon. I know that there's ways to actually gain interest, to use certain apps that you can get on your phone that actually allow you to generate interest through Bitcoin. So it's not like, say, gold. The knock against gold is that they say it's dead money. You put it in there and it goes up and down based on the value of it, but it doesn't generate interest or dividends or anything like that. But apparently with crypto, you can do that. There are vehicles, and you're going to be talking about that in the days and weeks ahead, correct?
Yeah, I'm actually going to put together something for our listeners that if they go to newstalkcrypto.com, they can sign up for a BlockFi account. Now, what is a BlockFi account? BlockFi is a fintech startup from the US that is completely regulated in all states. And they will offer up to 9.5% interest depending on the digital currency that you're storing with them. So if you have Bitcoin, I think Bitcoin is 4.5% interest. But if you're going to put stable coins, those coins that are pegged to the US dollar, I think USDT or USDC, one of them is 9.5%. So you have the option of getting 9.5% interest there versus a big fat goose egg from your bank that keeps lending and relending your money and keeping all the profits for yourself. Well, where are you going to go? Start to put a little bit of money into, fintech options like BlockFi.
All right. So NewsTalk Crypto, right? NewsTalk Crypto. That's your site.
NewsTalkCrypto.com will give you the link to BlockFi, and then maybe you and I will do it together.
All right.
And I'll hold your hand. I'll bring you into the new world, and then you'll talk about your experience next time.
Benjamin Dichter, thank you so much. Really appreciate this.
All right.
And that wraps things up for this edition of the Mark Petroni radio program right here on Saga 960. Thank you so much for tuning in. Let's do it again tomorrow, shall we? Bye-bye for now.